Many people say Shanghai looks like the future of China, so I came here for 48 hours to see if that is really true. I expected fast trains, glass towers, luxury streets, and one of the most famous skylines in the country. And yes, I found all of that. But I also found old homes, laundry outside the windows, quiet streets, and the side of Shanghai that felt much more human. So today, I want to show you what I actually saw. I live in Hangzhou, about 200 kilometers from Shanghai. This morning, I took a taxi to the high-speed railway station. It was only around a 10-minute drive, and the taxi cost 11 yuan. The process at the station is very simple. Walk in, scan your ID, pass the gate, and go to the platform. I know this may look normal to people in China, but when I think about it, it's still kind of crazy. I can live in Hangzhou and arrive in Shanghai in about 15 minutes. My train tickets to Shanghai was 88 yuan. That is shorter than some people's daily commute. The train is clean and quiet. I found my seat, took out my iPad, and the city outside the window started moving very fast. Buildings, small towns, construction sites, and new railway lines. It feels like everything is still being built. After arriving at Shanghai, I did not need to figure out anything complicated. I just followed the signs and walked straight to the metro. This metro ride cost 4 yuan. This was my first impression of Shanghai on this trip. Not exciting, not dramatic, but extremely smooth. And maybe this kind of smoothness is already part of what people mean when they say Chinese cities feel futuristic. When I first entered the city, Shanghai gave me the image I already had in my mind. Big commercial streets, luxury brands, glass buildings, large screens, international stores. Everything looked clean, expensive, and very organized. I passed by this Louis Vuitton building, shaped almost like a boat. Honestly, it looks impressive. It's the kind of thing that makes Shanghai feel very confident. Like the city knows exactly how to show itself to the world. Then, I walked through areas like Huaihai Road and Xintiandi. The streets here feel polished. The buildings are modern, the shops are expensive, even the metro entrance can look like design objects. At night, this side of Shanghai becomes even brighter. The lights, the shops, the quiet bridges make the city feel almost cinematic. If someone only walked in these areas, I think they would easily say, yeah, Shanghai looks like the future. And I understand that. This side of Shanghai is real. It's not fake. But it's only one side. After that, I walked into some old streets, and the feeling changed very quickly. Only a few minutes away from the expensive shops, I started to see old brick houses, small windows, old balconies, laundry hanging outside. Some buildings looked tired. Some streets felt a little messy, but I do not mean that in a bad way. Actually, this was the part I wanted to keep looking at, because people really live here. This is not a showroom, this is not a perfect podcast. It's just daily life. What surprised me was how close these two worlds are. On one street, you can see huge luxury ads and modern stores. Then, you turn a corner and you see someone's clothes hanging outside the window. A small balcony, an old wall, a normal home. At first, I wanted to say it's a contrast. But after walking longer, I feel it was more like coexistence. Shanghai does not hide the old parts completely, but the new parts do not erase everything. They stand next to each other, sometimes very beautifully, sometimes a little strange. But that is what makes the city feel real to me. I do not think I would remember Shanghai only because of the tall buildings. I would remember those streets too. Another thing I noticed is how easy many daily things are.
10月还是3296是吧？
对的. You move from the train to the metro, you follow signs, you scan, you pay, you order, you keep moving. For this trip, I took the metro 5 times. The total metro cost was 19 yuan. That is not a big number, but it carried me through many different parts of the city. My hotel for one night was 400 yuan. It was not a luxury hotel, just a normal room for one night in Shanghai. In the morning, there was even a robot making noodles for breakfast. It was a small thing, but kind of funny. Later, I went to Peace Coffee and ordered an Americano. 我在这儿喝啊。对，大杯。It cost 34 yuan. Nothing special, but that is exactly the point. A lot of things here are designed to be simple. You do not need to carry much cash. You do not need to talk too much if you do not want to. You just move through the city. But I also do not want to make it sound perfect. Shanghai can feel crowded. Some areas are expensive. After walking for hours, I was tired. And sometimes the city moves too fast. Yeah, so fast that you just feel like you are being carried by the system. So when people say Shanghai is the future, I think they are partly right. But the future here is not only robots or skyscrapers. A lot of it is just more systems working quietly in the background. For most of the trip, I was alone. I took the train alone, walked alone, ate alone, filmed alone. And honestly, this is normal for me. But one moment changed the feeling of the trip a little. I went into the Peace Coffee, ordered an Americano, and sat down. Then someone nearby started talking with me about cameras and content creation. 对对，所以我这次拍，我尽量还是没有去那个外滩啊、南京的那些地方。对对，我就主要拍这附近。Yeah, it was not a big story, just a casual conversation. But after walking through so many buildings, streets, and systems, this small conversation made the city feel different. Less like a machine, at least. More like a place where people actually pass through each other's lives. Later, I saw many different people in the city. Tourists taking photos, foreign visitors walking around Xintiandi, older tour groups near the old streets, people waiting, eating, talking, walking. This is also Shanghai. Not only the skyline, not only the luxury stores, not only the fast trains, but the people inside it. And maybe that is the part that makes a big city easier to remember. So, is Shanghai really the future of China? I think the answer is yes, but not in the simple way I expected. Before coming here, I thought the future would be the skyline, the tall towers, the luxury stores, and the fast trains. And yes, Shanghai has all of that. But after walking for 2 days, I think the future here is more complicated. It's a high-speed train next to an old neighborhood, a luxury ad next to someone's laundry, a glass building next to a quiet street, a robot making noodles in the morning, a crowded temple in the afternoon, and a small conversation in a coffee shop. For these 48 hours, including the round-trip train, metro, hotel, taxi, coffee, and 2 meals I did not film, I spent 995 yuan, roughly $140. This was not a luxury trip. It was just a normal solo walk through one of China's most famous cities. Shanghai feels modern, but it does not feel like a perfect science fiction city. It feels fast and slow at the same time, clean in some places, messy in others, expensive in some streets, ordinary just around the corner. And maybe that is why it stayed in my mind. Not because it was perfect, but because it felt real. I will see you in my next video. I'm Ollie. Bye bye.